Chapter 1. The Lonely Old Man. My name is Stephen Johnson. I live in the United States. I am 68 years old now. Life has made me weak, but my heart is still full of memories. Today, I want to share my story. People often ask, "Stephen, why do you look so sad? Did your wife leave you?" I smile and say, "No, she never left me. She never would. Life took her away, not her choice." 8 months ago, my wife Ava passed away. Since that day, I feel broken. My days are long, my nights are heavy. I sit alone and think of her. I look at her photos and whisper, "You are still with me, Ava. You will always be with me." Some people tell me to move on. They say, "You are still alive. Find another partner." A young woman, Alina, even came to me. She said, "Stephen, I love you. Please marry me. I will take care of you." I looked into her eyes and said softly, "No, I cannot. My heart belongs to Ava." You see, one night I made a promise to Ava. I told her, "Even after you, I will never love another woman. Only you." She held my hand and said, "I trust you, Stephen." That promise became my life. Even now, when she is not here, I live with that promise. Let me tell you how our story began. I was only 32 years old. I was poor. I worked in a hotel, cleaning and serving food. My clothes were simple, my pockets empty, but my heart was alive. Then I saw Ava. She was shy, gentle, and kind. She came from a rich family, but she was different. She spoke to me with respect. That respect touched me. I still remember how my heart beat fast when I first saw her. I told myself, "Stephen, don't be foolish. She is rich. You are poor. She will never care for you." But every day, she came back. Every day, she smiled at me. That smile gave me hope. One day, I was not at work. I was sick. Ava came that day. She looked for me. She asked the other waiters, "Where is Stephen?" They said I was not there. She sat quietly, then left without ordering. The next day, my friends told me what happened. Tears filled my eyes. I thought, maybe I matter to her. Maybe she cares. The next time she came, I gathered courage. My hands shook, but I spoke. "Ava, can we be friends? I know you are rich and I am poor, but can we still be friends?" She looked at me and gave me words I will never forget. She said, "Friendship is not about rich or poor." "You are a good man, Stephen. I want to be your friend, but promise me you will never think you are less. We are equal." Those words broke my fear. For the first time in my life, I felt worthy. We started talking more. We shared stories. We laughed, and soon our hearts came close. That was the beginning of our love. But love is never easy. Ava's family never liked me. When I went to her house, I saw it in their eyes. They looked at me as if I was nothing. I felt pain, but Ava gave me courage. She said, "Stephen, I don't care what they think. I choose you." One day, she came to me with fire in her eyes. She said, "I fought with my parents. They want me to marry a rich man, but I will not. I love you. I will marry you this week." I was shocked. I asked, "Ava, will you really leave your family for me?" She held my hand tight and said, "Yes, love is my choice. You are my choice." That day, I knew she was not just a woman. She was my angel. She left everything behind for me. And from that day, we walked one path together. Now she is gone, but her love is not gone. It lives in me. When I wake, I feel her voice. When I sleep, I see her face. She may not be here, but she is still with me. And I tell myself every day, Stephen, you were lucky. You had the best wife ever.
Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel, English Through Story.
Chapter 2, The First Sight. I told you how much I loved Ava. Let me now tell you how it all began. I was 32 years old at that time. My life was simple and poor. I worked in a hotel. I cleaned floors. I served food. I washed dishes. I did everything that was asked of me. My pay was low, but I had no choice. I needed to survive. One evening, while I was working, I saw her for the first time. A young woman entered the hotel. She was shy. She walked slowly. Her eyes looked kind. Her name was Ava. At that moment, I felt something in my heart. I said to myself, Stephen, don't dream. She is rich, and you are nothing. Still, I could not stop looking at her. She sat quietly and ordered food. I went near her table and served. She looked at me and said, "Thank you." Her voice was soft. Her smile was gentle. For a poor man like me, those words and that smile were treasures. I told myself, Stephen, you must stay away. She will never care for you. But my heart did not listen. Ava started coming again. Not once, not twice, but almost every day. She never spoke much, but she always gave me the same kind smile. That smile made my day. It gave me strength to work. I said to myself, why does she look at me like that? Am I wrong to feel something? Then one day, I did not go to work. I was sick. My friends were there and they told me what happened later. Ava came and asked, "Where is Stephen?" They told her I was not there. She sat for a while, then left without eating. When I returned the next day, my friends told me the story. I felt my eyes fill with tears. I thought, maybe I am not invisible. Maybe she really cares. The next day, I saw her again. She looked at me and smiled with joy. My heart beat fast. I wanted to speak, but I was afraid. Still, I gathered courage. I walked to her and said, "Ava, can we be friends? I know I am poor. I know you are rich. But can we still be friends?" She looked at me for a moment. Then she said words that changed my life. "Stephen, friendship is not about rich or poor. You are a good person. I want to be your friend. But promise me you will never think you are less than me. We are equal." Those words touched me so deeply. I had always felt small. I had always felt poor. But that day she lifted me up. I said, "I promise, Ava. I will never think I am less. Thank you for trusting me." She smiled again, and from that moment my life changed. We began to talk more. She asked me about my work, my life, my dreams. I told her everything. She listened with respect. I asked her about her family. She said little, but I understood she was from a rich house. Still, she never showed pride. She spoke like a simple soul. Days passed, and we became close. We laughed together. We shared stories. When she smiled, I felt alive. When she was silent, I felt empty. Slowly, I knew it was not just friendship. I was falling in love. I said to myself, "Stephen, be careful. You are poor. Don't break your heart." But the heart does not listen to fear. Then one evening she looked at me and asked, "Stephen, are you happy?" I was silent for a moment. Then I said, "When I see you, I am happy. The rest of the time, I just live." She looked down shyly, but her eyes showed feeling. That was the first time I felt sure that she also cared for me. I went home that night with a new hope. I could not sleep. I kept thinking of her words, her smile, her shy face. I whispered to myself, "Stephen, you are lucky. She is not just a dream. She is real. She cares for you." But I also knew there would be challenges. Her family was rich. They would never accept me. I was a poor hotel worker. I told myself, if you want her, you must be strong. You must be brave. Still, deep inside, I feared losing her. The next day, when I saw her, I said softly, "Ava, why do you come here every day?" She looked at me and said, "Because I feel peace when I see you." Those words broke every wall inside me. My heart knew then, this was love. From that day our journey began. Slowly, step by step, we moved from strangers to friends, and from friends to something more. I did not know where it would end, but I knew one thing. Ava had entered my life to change it forever. Chapter 3. A smile that changed everything. I told you how Ava and I became friends. That friendship was special. It was not like other friendships. It was soft, it was pure, and it carried something deeper. I could feel it in her eyes. I could feel it in her smile. Every day I waited for her. Every day, when she came, I felt my heart beating faster. She never said much, but her smile spoke more than words. Sometimes I served her food, and she would look at me with kindness. That look stayed with me all night. I said to myself, "Stephen, she is not like others. She is different. She sees you, not your poverty." One day I asked her, "Ava, why do you always smile at me?" She looked shy but answered, "Because you are a good man. Your face shows honesty. Your heart shows respect." And that makes me happy. I could not believe what I heard. No one had ever said those words to me before. That night, I sat alone and repeated her words again and again. "You are a good man." My whole life I had felt poor, small, invisible. But with one sentence, she gave me value. She gave me respect. She gave me hope. As days passed, our bond grew. She began to talk more. She asked me about my past, about my family. I told her about my struggles. I told her how I worked since I was a boy. She listened without judgment. When I finished, she said softly, "Stephen, you are strong. You are not poor in heart. You are rich in love." Her words made me cry. I looked away, but she noticed my tears. She whispered, "Don't hide your pain. I am your friend." Slowly, I started to see her more than a friend. I was falling in love, and I could not stop it. But fear was still in me. I told myself, "Stephen, she is from a rich family. Her parents will never allow this. You will lose her one day." Yet, every time she smiled, that fear melted. One evening, I walked with her outside the hotel. I said, Ava, do you ever feel lonely, even when you have everything? She looked down and said, Yes, Stephen. I feel lonely often. I have money, but I don't have freedom. My parents decide everything for me. They don't ask what I feel. I looked at her and said, If you ever need someone to listen, I am here. She smiled again, and I knew she trusted me. Our friendship turned into love slowly, not in one day, but in many small moments. When she laughed at my jokes, when she cared if I was sick, when she waited for me, all these moments built something strong. I could no longer hide my feelings. One day, I finally said, Ava, I don't want to lie to myself anymore. I love you. She went silent. My heart stopped. I thought she would walk away. But after a pause, she whispered, Stephen, I love you too. My eyes filled with tears. I said, Ava, are you sure? I am poor. I have nothing. She held my hand and said, You have love, and that is everything. That was the moment when our love truly began. We met more often. We talked for hours. I felt like I was living a dream, but deep inside, I knew her family would not accept me. I said to her, Ava, your parents will never allow this. She looked at me and said, Stephen, my heart is mine. They cannot decide for me. If they want money, let them keep it. I want love, and I choose you. One evening, she introduced me to her parents. I still remember their faces. They looked at me as if I was dirt. They did not speak to me with respect. They asked no questions about me, only about money. When I left that house, my heart was heavy. I thought, how can I marry her? I am nothing in their eyes. The next day, Ava came to me. She looked upset. She said, Stephen, I argued with my parents. They want me to marry a rich man. I refused. They shouted at me, but I don't care. I choose you. I asked, Ava, are you ready to leave your family for me? She answered with tears, Yes. Love is not about money. I want to marry you this week. Her courage shocked me. I asked again, Ava, do you really trust me with your life? She held my hand and said, I trust you more than anyone. You will never let me down. That day, I promised myself, Stephen, you will work hard. You will give her the life she deserves. We married soon after. It was not a grand wedding. There were no big halls, no gold, no gifts. But there was love. There was respect. There was hope. And that was enough for both of us. The first years were not easy. We had nothing. We worked in small shops. Sometimes we ate less. Sometimes we had no money left. But every time I felt weak, Ava gave me strength. She said, Stephen, don't worry. We will rise. Our love will make us strong. Her faith kept me alive. I still remember her words one night. I was tired and hopeless. I said, Ava, maybe I will always be poor. She held my face and said, Stephen, you are not poor. You are rich in courage. You are rich in love. One day the world will see it. That sentence burned in my heart like fire. From that day I worked harder. Our love gave us power. We held each other through pain. We smiled in dark times. And slowly we began to build a new life. That was the power of her smile. That was the power of her love. It changed me. It gave me value. It gave me hope. It gave me a reason to live. And today, even when she is gone, that smile is still with me. It guides me. It holds me. It keeps me alive. Chapter 4. Equal Hearts. Our love had started. It was soft at first. It grew slowly, but every day it became stronger. Ava's smile gave me courage. Her words gave me hope. I was poor, but she never let me feel small. She lifted me up when I was weak. She made me believe that my heart had value. One day as we sat together, I asked her, "Ava, why do you choose me? You could have anyone. You are rich, and I am poor." She looked at me and said, "Stephen, love is not about rich or poor. You are honest. You are kind. You respect me. That is more than money." Her words filled my eyes with tears. I whispered, "But people will laugh at us." She held my hand and said, "Let them laugh. I will not let go of you." Her family tried to separate us. They looked at me with hate. They told her she was making a mistake. They wanted her to marry a rich man. Ava stood strong. She told them, "I don't care about his money. I care about his heart." She fought for me when I could not fight for myself. That fight showed me how deep her love was. One night, I said to her, "Ava, I am scared. I don't want to lose you." She smiled softly and said, "You will never lose me. Promise me one thing, Stephen. Never think you are less than me. Never think I am above you. We are equal." Those words entered my soul. From that day, I promised myself I would never call myself poor again. We began to dream together. We dreamed of a life where we would be free, free from her parents' rules, free from the pain of judgment, free to love without fear. Ava said, "Stephen, we will build our own world. It may take time, we may struggle, but we will make it." Her faith was stronger than my fear. Then came the day when everything changed. Ava told me, "I fought with my parents again. They shouted at me. They told me to leave you, but I told them no. I told them I choose Stephen." I was shocked. I asked, "Ava, what did they say?" She answered with pain in her eyes, "They said I am no longer their daughter if I marry you." They closed the doors on me. I looked at her and said, "Ava, I cannot take you away from your family. I don't want you to suffer." She placed her hand on my chest and said, "Stephen, you are my family now. I am ready to walk away from them." I cried that night. I said to her, "You are leaving so much for me. How will I ever repay you?" She smiled and whispered, "Just love me forever." "That is all I ask." I held her hands and said, "Ava, I will love you till my last breath. Even after death, I will still love you." She looked at me with tears and said, "That is all I need." We married soon after. It was not grand. There were no lights, no gifts, no celebrations. But in our small moment, there was love. There was honesty. There was truth. And that was enough. Ava looked at me after we said our vows and said, "Stephen, today we start as equal hearts." I nodded and said, "Yes, Ava." Equal hearts. One soul life was not easy after marriage. We had nothing. We lived with struggle. But Ava never let me give up. When I was tired, she reminded me of her words. When I lost hope, she gave me her smile. She said, again and again, "We are equal. Together, we can face anything," and she was right. One night, when I was broken from work, I said, "Ava, maybe I will never give you the life you deserve." She came close and said, "You already gave me more than I deserve. You gave me love. You gave me respect. That is the life I wanted." I hugged her and said, "You are my blessing." She whispered back, "And you are mine." Our bond grew stronger. People could not understand us, but we did not need them to. We only needed each other. When I looked at her, I saw peace. When she looked at me, she saw trust. That was our world, small but full of love. I still remember the night I promised her again. I said, "Ava, no matter what happens, I will never leave you. I will never love anyone else." She looked at me with soft eyes and said, "I know, Stephen, and I promise the same. Even if life takes me away, my love will not leave you." Those words became our truth. That was Ava, strong, kind, and full of courage. She left her family, her comfort, her rich life, all for me. She stood beside me in pain, in hunger, in struggle. She was my equal. She was my strength. She was my heart. And today, when I sit alone, I still hear her voice. I still hear her saying, "We are equal, Stephen. Always equal."
Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel, English Through Story.
Chapter 5. Love Against the World. After our small wedding, life truly began. It was not a life of comfort. It was a life of struggle, but it was ours. We had nothing big to show, but we had each other, and that was enough. Ava stood beside me like a shield. She had left her family. She had left her rich life. She had left everything for me. I looked at her one night and said, "Ava, you gave up so much. Don't you regret it?" She smiled and held my hand. "Stephen, I regret nothing. I only regret not finding you earlier." Her words broke me inside. I hugged her and whispered, "I will never let you down." We worked together in small jobs. Sometimes I cleaned, sometimes she helped in shops. We carried heavy loads. We came home tired. But she never complained. She always said, "Stephen, this is only the beginning. One day, we will build our own place. One day, our children will be proud of us." Her faith was stronger than my pain. There were nights we had no proper food. I told her, "Ava, eat. I am not hungry." She looked into my eyes and said, "Stephen, if you don't eat, I will not eat." So we shared little bread and still smiled. That smile was wealth to me. But the world outside was not kind. People whispered when they saw us. They said, "Why did she choose him? He has nothing. She could have married anyone." Some even said to me directly, "Stephen, you are lucky." But remember, luck will not last. Their words hurt me. I felt small. But Ava never let me fall. She told me, "Let them speak. Their voices mean nothing. Our love is stronger than their hate." One evening I cried in front of her. I said, "Ava, I feel useless. I cannot give you what your parents could." She held my face and said, Stephen, you already gave me what they never could. You gave me love. You gave me respect. That is all I wanted. I broke down and whispered, Ava, you are my gift. She kissed my hand and said, and you are mine. Her parents tried again to bring her back. They sent letters. They sent people to talk. They told her she was throwing her life away. She read their words and then looked at me. She said, Stephen, they don't see me. They only see money. But I see you. And that is enough. I asked her, Ava, are you sure? This choice is forever. She answered without fear, yes, Stephen. Forever. I would rather live in hunger with you than live in gold without you. That was the courage she carried. She taught me courage, too. Slowly, I began to fight the world with her. When people insulted me, I stood tall. When they laughed at me, I held Ava's hand tighter. She gave me the strength to face them. We made plans for the future. She said, Stephen, one day we will have children. They will not care about money. They will see love in their home. That will make them rich. I smiled and said, yes, Ava. They will know their mother is the bravest woman in the world. Every step of our early marriage was hard, but every step was full of meaning. We had no respect from others, but we respected each other. We had no big house, but we had a big heart. We had no wealth, but we had endless love. Years later, when I look back, I see those early struggles as the strongest part of our love. That was when Ava proved that love can stand against the world. She did not leave me. She did not listen to her parents. She did not care about people's words. She chose me every day. And today, even though she is gone, I still feel that choice. I still feel her saying, Stephen, I choose you. Always you. Like, subscribe, and share. Click on hype button to hype the video. Chapter 6. Struggles and Strength. After our marriage, the real test of love began. We had no house of our own. We had no money saved. We only had each other. But Ava never complained. She never asked me why I could not give her the life her family once gave. She only said, Stephen, as long as we are together, we will survive. And one day, we will win. We worked hard every single day. Sometimes we found jobs in shops. Sometimes we carried boxes. Sometimes I worked as a helper in small places. Our hands were tired, but our hearts were strong. Ava worked beside me. She never cared that she once lived in comfort. She said, Stephen, every step we take together is better than 1,000 steps I could take alone. There were nights when we had nothing but bread. I felt guilty. I said, Ava, you left a palace for this. Did I destroy your life? She looked at me with tears and whispered, No, Stephen. You gave me life. I was caged before. Now I am free. You gave me respect. You gave me love. You gave me what money never could. I cried in silence that night, and I promised myself I would build a future for her. Days turned into months. We struggled more than I can explain. People laughed at us. Some called me a fool. Some called her blind. But she never bowed to them. She always said, Stephen, let them speak. Their words cannot break us. Our love is stronger than their hate. One evening, I was tired. My back hurt. My hands were rough, and my hope was weak. I told her, Ava, maybe I will never rise. Maybe this is our life forever. She held my face and said, Stephen, don't speak like this. You are strong. You are honest. I believe in you. One day, you will not just survive. You will stand tall. You will win. Her words lit fire in my chest. I said, Ava, you are my strength. Without you, I am nothing. She replied, and without you, I am empty. Together we are everything. We started thinking about business. Ava had ideas. She knew how to plan. She told me, Stephen, if we can work for others, we can also work for ourselves. We can start small. We can grow. At first I was afraid. I said, Ava, what if we fail? She smiled and said, then we will fail together. But if we win, we will win together too. That is worth the risk. Her courage pushed me forward. We tried many things. We sold small goods. We worked long hours. Sometimes we failed. Sometimes we lost money. But Ava never let me give up. She said, Stephen, failure is not the end. It is the first step to success. I held her hand and said, then let's walk every step together. There were times when I fell sick from overwork. Ava cared for me like a mother. She sat by me, fed me, and whispered, Stephen, don't push yourself too hard. I need you alive more than I need money. I smiled weakly and said, I will live for you. I will fight for you. Then came the happiest moment of our life. Ava told me she was pregnant. I could not stop my tears. I said, Ava, we will have a child. I will give this child the world. She held my hand and said, give this child only love, Stephen. That is enough. Her words were simple, but they were gold. When our first child was born, our lives changed. I looked at that little face and whispered, I will never let you suffer. Ava held the baby and said, Stephen, this is our proof. Even in struggle, love gives life. Later, our second child came and we became 4. We were still poor, but we were rich in love. Our children gave us new strength. I worked harder. Ava guided me better. She balanced the home, the children, and even business ideas. She was more than a wife. She was a partner, a leader, a teacher, and a blessing. Many times I told her, Ava, I don't know how you do all this. She smiled and said, because I know why I am doing it. I am doing it for you, for us, for our children. Slowly, with time, our efforts began to show results. Small savings became bigger. Small business became stronger. We started to rise. It was not sudden. It was slow, but it was steady. And every time we achieved even the smallest success, Ava celebrated like it was the biggest victory. She said, Stephen, we are moving forward. This is just the beginning. Looking back now, I see how strong she was. I was ready to give up many times, but she never let me. She pulled me up every time I fell. She reminded me of my worth when I forgot it. She believed in me when I did not believe in myself. That is why I always say, Ava was not just my wife. She was my strength. She was my courage. She was the reason I could fight the world. Without her, I would have been lost. With her, I became a man who could stand tall. And today, when she is gone, I still hear her voice in my heart. Stephen, don't stop. Don't break. You are strong. You are mine. Those words keep me alive even now. Chapter 7. A Family Built with Love. Our children gave us a new life. They became our strength. They became our reason to work harder. Every morning when I saw their faces, I felt energy. I told myself, Stephen, no matter how hard the world is, you must fight for them. Ava was not only a mother, she was a guide. She looked after the children, but she also looked after me. When I came home tired, she would smile and say, Stephen, don't worry. One day these struggles will become stories. Our children will know we fought for them. Her words gave me hope every single day. We had very little money in the beginning, but we had so much love. The children grew up watching their mother's courage and their father's hard work. Sometimes I felt afraid that I could not give them what other children had. But Ava always reminded me, Stephen, they don't need gold. They need love. They need us. And she was right. As time passed, our business ideas started to work. Slowly, we saved more. Slowly, we earned respect. People who once laughed at us began to look at us differently. They said, Stephen, you are lucky to have such a wife. And I always replied, yes, I am the luckiest man alive. There were moments when I wanted to give expensive things to my children. I told Ava, they deserve more. They deserve comfort. She touched my hand and said, Stephen, comfort is not in money. Comfort is in love. If they see us standing together, they will feel safe. That is more important than riches. I knew she was right. One evening, I looked at her and said, Ava, you changed my life. You gave me strength when I had none. You built this family with your love. She smiled and answered, Stephen, you gave me the same. I left everything for you, but I never felt I lost anything. I gained a husband who loves me, children who give me joy, and a life full of meaning. The children also saw the bond between us. One night, my little one asked, Papa, why do you love Mama so much? I laughed and said, because she is my heart. Ava looked at me with tears and whispered, and you are mine. That moment showed our children what love truly is. We started taking small trips together when we could afford them. We laughed as a family. We played. We sang songs. I could see happiness in Ava's eyes when she watched our children smile. She once told me, Stephen, this is all I ever wanted. Not gold, not diamonds. Just this, a family built with love. As years passed, we became stable. We had money now, we had respect, we had success. But for me, the real success was not in business. It was in the way Ava and I raised our family. It was in the love that filled our home. One night, when the children were asleep, I sat with Ava. I said, promise me, no matter what happens, we will never let anything break our family. She held my hand and said, Stephen, nothing can break us. Not money, not pain, not time. We are one, always one. Those words still live in me. Even now, after she is gone, I feel her voice saying the same. Our family was her dream. Our love was her strength. She gave everything to build it, and I gave everything to protect it. Together, we created something that will never die. That is why I always say, I was not just a husband, I was the luckiest man, because I had a wife who built my world with love. And even today, I live in that love. Like subscribe and share. Click on hype button to hype the video. Chapter 8. She is still with me. We had built everything together. We had love. We had respect. We had children who gave us joy. We had money, but most of all, we had peace. Life felt complete. I looked at Ava many times and said, "You gave me everything. I don't need anything else." She would smile and whisper, "Stephen, you gave me everything too." But time is cruel. 8 months ago, my world broke apart. Ava fell sick, and nothing could save her. I held her hand as she breathed her last. My heart was bleeding. I begged her, "Don't go, Ava. I can't live without you." She looked at me with weak eyes and said, "Stephen, don't cry. I will always be with you. Even if you cannot see me, I will never leave you." Those were her last words. Since that day, my life has been empty. I wake up and feel her absence. I eat alone. I sleep alone. Yet in silence, I still hear her voice. I still feel her near me. Sometimes I look at her photo and whisper, "Ava, I kept my promise." I never looked at another woman. I never will. You are still my only love. A young woman named Alina once came to me. She said, "Stephen, I love you. Please marry me. I will take care of you." I looked at her with respect, but told her the truth. "No, Alina. My heart belongs to Ava. She may not be here, but she still lives with me. I cannot give her place to anyone," she cried, but I could not change my heart. One night, sitting alone, I remembered the promise I gave Ava long ago. I told her, "Even after you, I will never love anyone else." That promise is still alive. I live by it every single day. When people ask me why I refused Alina, I simply answer, because I already had the best. How can I search for better when I had perfection? My children ask me sometimes, "Papa, don't you feel lonely?" I smile and say, "Yes, I feel lonely. But I am not alone. Your mother is still with me. She lives in my memories, in my breath, in my soul." They hug me, and I feel Ava's love flowing through them. Life is hard without her, but I remind myself I was lucky. I was chosen. She left her rich house for me. She fought her parents for me. She stood by me in poverty. She helped me rise. She raised my children with courage. She loved me until her last breath. Now I sit here, an old man, telling you this story. I am Stephen Johnson, and I want the world to know this truth. My wife Ava was, is, and always will be the best wife ever. She may not be with me in body, but she is still with me in spirit. She is still my love. She is still my heart. She is still my life.
Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel, English Through Story.